So you're thinking about moving to Nashville. I guarantee you there are at least 12 things that you haven't thought to ask. 12 things that could make or break your decision as to whether to come to Nashville. My job here is to just tell it like it is. Now, it's not going to be silly stuff like what are the hot chicken spice levels, and spoiler alert, I really hate hot chicken, but most people like it. Just not for me. It's not about are you going to have to love country music to love it here in Nashville. And, again, spoiler alert, you're probably going to end up kind of liking it, kind of not liking it. Doesn't matter. That doesn't make or break whether you love the city or not. But these 12 things really might make it. So buckle up. We're going to talk about the 12 things that people forget to ask me about. Anywhere from the gun laws. Where can you buy alcohol? Can you buy it in the grocery stores? The things that make life wonderful for some people, and it's important to you if you're thinking about moving to Nashville. So join me on the other side. Let's get into it. 12 questions that you haven't thought to ask, but you should ask before packing up and moving to Nashville. First question, what's the deal with property taxes and hidden costs? I'm sure you know this already. Tennessee does not have a state income tax, which is amazing. But before you get too excited, let's talk about property taxes. Compared to other states, they're quite reasonable from talking to other people coming from other areas. But Davidson County's tax rate is different from the neighboring counties, Williamson County or Sumner County, some of the other counties around it. And here's a fun surprise. Some areas have city and county taxes. And then plus, of course, you're going to have HOA fees in most of the newer builds from 1995 and later. Those can add up, especially in the cute master plan communities with the new construction that so many people want. Do your homework. If you're considering an area, let's make sure it doesn't have city, county, maybe even a school tax in addition, because it's in a primo area. Those are things that I can help you with. Oh, by the way, I am a full-time realtor. That's why I do these videos, to help share great information about moving to and living in Nashville. I am a native Nashvillian. I'm a 30-plus year career realtor. I'm a general contractor, now retired. I know a thing or two about living in the Nashville area, and nuances make or break deals every single time. Number 2. So just how bad is the traffic? You've heard that Nashville traffic is bad, and I think it really makes a difference as to what you're comparing it against. Where are you coming from? If you're coming from a large city, New York, Atlanta, Boston, San Francisco, pretty much any larger city in the top 50 cities, I think you're going to find us pretty comparable, but we do have some really tough areas. You may have heard that Nashville traffic is bad, and if you're one of us natives, you really think it's disgusting. Also, it's not. In comparison to some of the top other 50 cities of the country, we really compare pretty nicely according to those who've moved here, but you do have to take into account several different complex issues. We don't have a subway. We don't have any major bypasses of the city, but ask Atlanta how good that did for them. One road you thought would be a fast cut through, everybody has learned about it, so that doesn't work so well sometimes. Yeah, it's under construction in a lot of areas. If you're commuting, always ask about times during rush hour, not as the crow flies. What Google Maps say at noon is quite different than at 5:30 p.m. Also, a trick, always use your Google Maps or Waze, which is even better, because it's going to let you know about traffic pileups, whether there's an issue on the interstate, and it's going to give you the best route to get to wherever you want to go. Check out Waze no matter where you are. It's a really good system. Number 3, what is the power bill situation? So I know this is going to shock you, but our summers are hot. Yep, they're hot. And if you're moving from somewhere with mild weather, your air conditioning is going to be your very best friend. It's about to become your best friend, your biggest expense as well. Middle Tennessee gets ice storms too, not just snow. And if you live in certain areas, you're gonna have an occasional power outage. Typically, it's an hour or two. However, you may want to invest in a small home generator for your refrigerator, just to keep all that food from spoiling. In all my life of living here, I've only had 2 times that I ever remember where the power went out for more than 3 to 4 hours. We can all live through that, but just to be safe, and you sure don't want to have to throw away all the meat in your freezer, get a small generator. Especially get a small generator if you happen to live in some very rural areas. That's where we have most of the issues because we have so many trees and the ice breaks the tree limbs. The tree limbs come down on the power lines. That can take a while longer, maybe even days, to be repaired. If you want the idyllic rural setting, then you want to maybe get that generator to go with it. Number 4, is this area actually in a flood zone? First off, it's very easy to determine whether a home is in a flood zone by checking the FEMA flood maps, number 1. Number 2, it is very easy not to live in a flood zone if you don't want to live in a flood zone. But Nashville loves to surprise newcomers with unexpected water issues on our heavy torrential rains that can come in early spring times. Some neighborhoods that look perfectly fine now have a history of flooding, say over in the Bellevue area, in the very low area at the Harpeth River, like really bad flooding. 2010, that was obscenely bad in certain areas. Always check flood maps before you buy a house because you don't want to find out when it's too late. Flood insurance could be a must. If the foundation of the home sits in the 100-year floodplain, you must carry flood insurance if you hold a mortgage. Now, if it's in the back end of the lot and it doesn't touch the house, then you may not, probably won't have to. But you have to be the judge whether you're okay with maybe some standing water. Typically, it's not a problem. Easily, it's find outable if it's a potential problem, and then it's up to you as to whether you want to carry that flood insurance or carry the risk of maybe having some water in that backyard or in your basement. Okay, this is future editing me, and obviously it's Ash Wednesday, but I want to share with you, this is our new Nashville 2025 updated relocation guide. My team and I have been working so hard on this to fill it full of information that you really need if you're thinking of moving to Nashville or even just coming to visit. I mean, we've got information about the history of the city, the demographics, the cost of living, some climate insights. People are always asking me questions about that. Some of the main urban areas of Nashville and the main suburban areas in and around Nashville. Great information about each one of those. Top up suburbs to live. Then it goes into recreational options that you've got here, several pages of that. We've got all the local attractions. We've got all the nearby parks. Well, not all of them because there are lots and lots of nearby parks, but super shopping areas, local hot spots, great restaurants, things to do. Look, whether you're visiting for a long week, I've got everything you might need right here just to do, and you're visiting, but if you're thinking of moving here to Nashville, this is just a little bit of the iceberg of all the great things there is here in Nashville. I'm going to put the information in the description box below. Download your free guide now. Now, let's get back to the info. Number 5, what is the real story with the schools? Even if you don't have kids, school zones matter. They matter for resale value. And there are some areas that have better schools than others. We have county systems. Public school system is Davidson County is Nashville. Williamson County is Franklin Brentwood. Sumner County is Hendersonville. There are counties and there are public county school systems. Some are better than others, just a fact. Nashville itself in Davidson County has a mix of public, magnet, charter, and private schools. And you're going to basically find that in many of the other counties. The rankings vary widely by area. So all areas are not equal in Davidson County. I find that less so in Williamson County and a little bit less so maybe even the other 2 counties as well. Some of the best public schools are actually outside of Davidson County. Williamson County, Wilson County, and Rutherford County has good school systems, and Sumner County. Those are the top 4 school systems based upon greatschools.org's rankings. This is not me saying this. Somebody, don't come after me. People do it all the time. Don't come at me on that. It is a public school rankings. You can check them out for yourself. If schools are a factor for you, please don't just rely on test scores. Don't just rely on greatschools.org. Talk to parents who have kids currently in that school zone. So maybe you have a home that's particular one area or another. You're looking at two different homes and the school systems are super important to you. Talk to parents who have children who are actually in each one of those schools to find out what they think about the whole thing. Again, you've got to use your own judgment. Lots of options of places to get good information. Number 6, can I actually park downtown? I gotta tell you, this to this native is a question that really irritates me. I remember until not too long ago, you could pretty much park anywhere downtown and not have to pay a parking fee. With our growth, have come a lot of paid parking lots, even for just going downtown to have dinner. That's an irritation to me, and that's actually how I choose some restaurants to go to or not go to, depending on how much I have to pay for parking. If you work downtown or you just like to go out a lot, then know this: parking is expensive, hard to find, and not always where you need it. Some apartment buildings and condos don't even include parking in your rent. Now, that's not many of them, but it's a potential. Yeah, you might be paying extra just to have a spot, or you're paying extra for the spot to be able to have it. Street parking, let's just say, Metro Nashville is really good at handing out parking tickets very quickly. Again, for this native Nashvillian, having to pay for parking downtown, that's one of my pet peeves. 7, I hear this a lot. I hear this a whole lot. What's the deal with tornadoes? We don't get hurricanes. We rarely get earthquakes. My entire 60 plus years, I've never felt an earthquake, but I think we've had a couple small ones. Tornadoes, yeah, they happen. And no, most homes don't have basements. I've talked about that, why we really don't have basements. So if you're new to tornado country, you'll want to know where the safest spots in the home would be if it happens to have tornado warnings. Have a plan when those sirens go off. And by the way, there are sirens all over the city. You will hear those sirens go off. I can find for you every single home and the safest place in every single home in case of tornado. Just be warned. Hey, if you're getting value from this, and again, I'm going to always tell it like it is to you. That's what you get in every single one of my videos, whether I'm taking to a different area, I'm showing you new construction issues, whatever I'm talking about, I'm going to give it to you straight. If you're enjoying that, subscribe to this show. Tap the bell so you're notified every time there's a new video. And by the way, you need to check out my relocation guide if you're seriously considering a move here. That relocation guide is brand new. I'm really excited about it. It's new. It is updated from what I've had. So even if you've been watching me and you've gotten an old guide, you need to get this new one. It's got best suburbs. It's got restaurants to eat when you come to visit. It's got all the things to do here in the Nashville area that people love. It's good for both locals and those who are visiting here to get the most out of Nashville, not just the things that the Chamber of Commerce tells you to come do. It has so much great information, 55 pages worth of work. I think you need this reload guide if you're seriously considering Nashville or just coming to visit. Number 8, will my car insurance go up? This one's kind of a funny one, so I didn't realize how expensive car insurance is in many places. I want to actually mention that and tags. If you're moving from a state where people actually use their turn signals, get ready. Tennessee could disappoint you. So many people have moved here who evidently never learned how to use their turning signals that it's kind of morphed into us, and that's not the way it used to be. Tennessee's drivers have a reputation now, and not in a good way, of not using their turning signals. Insurance rate can be higher than you'd expect, so check before you move, especially if you're coming from a state with lower risk factors. That's 100% the deal here, is the risk factor of having your car vandalized. That's a big thing. Vandalism of unlocked cars or locked cars, if there's something visible in it, has, I'm afraid, gotten to be kind of tricky in the very, very suburban areas. Something else to notice, we have car tags once a year that you pay for to renew your license tags. It's $100 or less for just a regular person. It's not a commercial tag. Now, I'm finding that's way cheaper than some other areas that charge you based upon the value of your car. We don't do that. $100 a year will get you your renewed car tags. Number 9, how does the Nashville social scene really work? Nashville is friendly, but if you're new here, you've kind of got to put in a little effort to put yourself out there to get to know people. Your neighbors are probably going to come over and visit. They'll welcome you. They might even bring you some fresh pie or some hot chicken. But it's going to take a little effort to break into the social circles. It's not just honky-tonks and bachelorette parties. You can go downtown, you can find people to hang out with and party with all you want. But if you're looking for something more friendships, stay away from those areas because those are tourists anyway and they're going home. There are tons of local groups, networking events, outdoor activities that can help you meet people, but you do have to put yourself out there. In my calls with people, I always ask, in your free time, what do you enjoy doing? I can help connect you to places where you can actually do that, whether it's the place that you live or maybe meetup groups, people with different or similar interests and hobbies. That's where you're going to find the better friendships, I think. And so that's something to really consider. What do you wish you even had time for? If you're moving to Nashville, you've got time for it, and we can help you find the place. Number 10, where do I buy alcohol? And what are the hours? Now, again, as a native Nashvillian growing up, we did not sell alcohol in any way on Sundays. Now, we still don't have alcohol sales on Christmas Day. I'm not even sure why that is, but it sounds silly. Trust me, you don't want to be the person trying to buy wine on Sunday morning. You can buy wine now in the grocery stores, wine and beer in grocery stores, but not in the morning. Also, Tennessee has weird liquor laws. The grocery stores cannot sell liquor, and the liquor stores cannot sell beer. If you run out of wine on Christmas Day, too bad. No alcohol sales according to state law. So you just got to make some plans. Okay, if you've stuck around this long, bravo. These are probably the 3 most important tips that I think everyone needs to know and no one ever asked me, but they wish that they had. Number 11, what are Tennessee's gun carry laws? This is one that a lot of people are very surprised about if they come from a very restrictive state. Tennessee is a permitless gun carry state, which means that residents who are 21 years or older or 18 years if you serve in the military can carry a handgun openly or concealed without a permit. But before you freak out, any store, any establishment can say with signs that you cannot carry a gun. So you're going to get at football games, at concerts, they're going to check. You're going to check your bags. You cannot carry in these places. You cannot carry in the airport. You cannot in certain areas. So before you freak out, look for signs that prohibit the weapons on their property. If you're moving from a more restrictive state, this is definitely something you're going to want to be aware of. Number 12, this is totally new. 5 years ago, it was never ever asked. It's now asked regularly once people get here. And I'm finding that more and more people love pickleball. So where are the best pickleball courts? Pickleball is huge in Nashville, so much so that new courts are popping up everywhere. I've just heard of a brand new giant pickleball establishment in Hendersonville and one about to be built in Wilson County as well. They're popping up everywhere. Some of the best places are Centennial Sportsplex, Hadley Park, and even private clubs like Owl's Hill. If you want to mix socializing with your game, check out one of the indoor pickleball bars that are opening up. Trust me, you're going to want to know where the places are because once you're here, you'll have at least 1, if not 10 friends who build their entire social circuit around pickleball games. And 13, how dog-friendly is Nashville? That too is something that's really changed quite a bit in the last few years. If you've got a 4-legged best friend, you'll be happy to know that Nashville is a very dog-friendly. You can find plenty of dog parks like Centennial Park and Two Rivers, or even better, tons of bars and restaurants that welcome dogs. Some of my personal favorites, I hear about it. I'll be honest with you, I don't take my dog. She's asleep under my feet right this minute. But some of the personal favorites of my daughter, who does take her dogs a lot of places, is Von Elrod's, the Filling Station, and the infamous Tailgate Brewery. Just be ready. Some neighborhoods are way more dog-friendly than others. So if your pup is a big part of your lifestyle, there is something to check out before you move. We can tell you the most dog-friendly areas. You just gotta ask. I gotta know what's the most important thing to you. So that's why I wanted to tickle your brain a little bit with some of the questions that actually are very important to people, but they just forget to ask. So there you have it. 13 things that you probably should ask and you probably wouldn't remember to ask when you and I have that very important phone call. Do it with hundreds of people every single month. have a phone call. Let's talk about the things that are of interest to you in moving to a new area. Thinking about it. What do you want in a neighborhood, in a community, and all the things that go into making decisions as to whether Nashville is the best move for you. If you've got more questions, drop them in the comments. This video came from the questions that you asked, and I want to help you out. If you're serious about making the move, do what some of you are doing, reach out to me. Let's have that phone conversation and see if I can't help you find the best place for you possible in the Middle Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee area. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next week.